I'm going to be changing the oil on my Audi A4. This is a method that I use. I'm not saying it's the only method or the right method. It's just the method that I use. See if you like it. First things first is I've already warmed up the engine for a little bit so that the oil is thinner and at operating temperature. So we're going to take off this cover to access the oil filter. Which is right here. And what I'm going to be using to extract the oil is this particular thing right here, this oil extractor. The only thing is that I don't use that pump. I used to use it, but it's just cumbersome. It takes a long time. So what I've done is I've connected it to my air conditioner AC servicing vacuum pump, and this is what I use. It just makes it much easier. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to take out the oil through here. This car is American, so it doesn't have a dipstick. It just has this plug, and we'll put in the tube to take the oil out. Make sure it bottoms out. Okay, so I've put it in here. It goes from here to the container, the containment container, and then this other side, of course, is connected to the vacuum pump. So it pulls a vacuum and then brings the oil out of the engine into this container. Alright, so it's time to turn on the vacuum pump. And there it goes. And then it begins to flow into the container. It takes a little bit, but it's a lot better than using that hand pump. That just didn't work for me that great. As you can see, the oil is now collecting here in the container, so it shouldn't be too long now. And one thing I should mention is that this particular setup does not work on every car. It doesn't work on some of my cars, and the reason it doesn't is because this tube, I can't put it into some of the engines that I have in some of my cars, and that's because this tube will not go, it's blocked. It doesn't go all the way down, so it doesn't work on every car. But if your car, you have access all the way to the bottom through that tube, then you're good to go. As you can see, it's collecting here now. We're at the 2 liters right now, and it shouldn't be too much longer. I don't know if this will show up on camera, but you can tell here where it's pulling out a lot of air now with a little bit of oil. So it's almost done. Okay, this is done, so I'm going to take it out now, and then we're going to change the filter. Okay, I'm going to remove the filter now, so I'm going to put some paper towels around here so that we minimize the mess. Some paper towels here handy. There we go. We want to clean this up a little bit, and then take this O-ring off. And replace it with a new one. to go. Set that aside. Now we want to replace the filter. Make sure it pops into place. We want to take a little bit of this oil, make sure that there's a tiny bit of oil on this O-ring. Just use the residual oil that's already on there. Be sure and tighten that, just snugly, but do not over tighten. It's made out of plastic. Now we want to clean this up a little bit, take it off, and then put the new oil in it. And this particular car specification calls for 5.5 quarts of synthetic. Okay, all we need is just a 1/2 quart more. Okay, so we have this other 1/2 quart to put in, and then we're good to go. Right, take this out, make sure it doesn't drip all over the place. Place the cap. Put this cap back on since it doesn't have a dipstick. And then make sure and put the cover back on. Okay, we're done. Now we're just going to fire it up, make sure it has oil pressure, no leak, and then we should be good to go. Okay, everything looks fine, no leaks, good to go. Thanks for watching.